everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to make a block that is called Air Castle, and it is going to be a 14-inch block for my Harry Potter quilt. So for that, actually this is going to be the first one. I have two different ones that are named Air Castle, and they're slightly different. So this is going to be version 1, and then in another video we'll do version 2. But for this one, we're going to need 4 fabrics. And I picked these 4. I don't know how they're going to look. I just kind of throw things together and hope for the best. That's what my son wanted. He wanted it to be all different, so that's what he's going to get. So I'm not going to go over the measurements. I am going to put that in the link, though, or the description. I keep calling it a link. So we're first thing first, we're going to take these 2 fabrics. These 2 fabrics are 5.5 inches, and we're going to turn them into 5-inch half square triangles. We'll need 4 of them. So I've already drawn the line, and I have drawn the line from corner to corner. We're just going to do one line and sew 1/4 inch on both sides. I do it sometimes with 2 lines, sometimes 1. Just depends on how I'm feeling. My pin wasn't showing up very well. I was getting frustrated on the other one, so I decided to do 1 on here. So we're going to pin that, lay it to the side. Same thing on this one. These are going to be our 4 corners. We're going to pin that, lay it to the side. All right, lay that out there. We don't need it right now. This one is going to be our center block, and we're going to dog ear all the corners. Not dog ear, snowball. I don't know where. This is the one that it wouldn't show up on. I can see it, but I'm well aware that you probably can't. I used my pink pen, but it didn't work the way I wanted it to. So we're just going to, my line is going this way. So I'm going to sew that way. I'm just going to pin that there. And I'm going to do the same here. And I am aware that it's probably going to cut off Harry's head, and Ron is going to be the center of it, but I don't care. So this one is also going this way. So I'm going to pin that there. And we're going to go sew up all these pieces, and then we'll be back for the next step. But I'm going to take you with me to the sewing machine. There we go. So we're going to sew this one first. Let's see how my angle is there. Well, I don't know, you guys. Let me find my light there. There we go. That might be better. So I have when I do just one line, I leave my 1/4 inch seam on there, and then I run that one across the line. We're not doing that here. I just wanted to show you that. We're doing that on the half square triangles. On these blocks, we are sewing right down the line. So I'm just going to line it up there. And we're just going to go straight down. And I didn't have a starter on there. I see it, that it's not there. It's okay though. Now, this is what I'm going to show you. My hand's going to be in the way. We'll try to do it this way. We're going to line that up right there on the line. So my 1/4 inch piece is going down that line. I need to move it further up. But so you're just going to do that the entire way down. Mostly. Gets a little wobbly on me, but it's okay. Same thing. Try not to get my hand in there, but sometimes I need my hand in there. And we're just going to go straight down. Alright, and now we just need to sew up the second side on all of those. So we're just going to trim them off. And we're going to come back to this one. I'll take that out. I don't need it anymore. This one is going to be the same thing on the line. I'm going to pull this out now because it's going to go the wrong way or run right into it if I don't. And again, I can see that line. I'm aware that you probably can't. I'm going to go ahead and trim this off and pull this one around. We're just going to sew up the other side now. Put our 1/4 inch thing there right on that line. And just sew right down through. Pull my pin out as I go. Same thing on this one. I line it up till my needle is right there on, ready to sew onto the fabric. I'm going to put my ender there. Cut them off. Let me switch my camera back. Alright, and now we're going to cut these apart. You guys, that's the same fabric, just different packets, but the back is way darker on one. See that? It is the same fabric, if you notice that. Actually, I guess that's a little darker too. Just a different pack. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. We're going to cut these at 1/4 inch. So we're just going to line up the 1/4 inch line on our stitched line. Cut it off. Same thing on this side. This will go into my scrap quilt. I need to get back doing that because I am gathering a bunch of scraps. I'm going to iron this open. It's good to give Ron some glory, I guess. So now I already drew the line. I'm just going to lay this one like that and pin it. Again, it's going this way, so we're going to frame this middle piece. And then my line again is on there. We're just going to line it up with the corner. And I'll go back and sew that in a minute. We're going to move on to these right now. Cut it corner to corner. And corner to corner. That one wasn't very accurate, but it still cut, so we're okay. We will iron them open. They're both dark fabrics, doesn't really matter. See, I cut it really terribly there. I'll have to quilt there better when I'm putting it together. Alright, so now we're going to square these up. Where's that one? No, there. Actually might go, before I square it up, I'm going to go back to the sewing machine and sew that a little farther in. And then if it's too small, then I'll just make a new one. So I'm just going to go back here. Actually, at the risk of saving time, I'm going to run this one through first. Then I can run this one through. might make it too small, but it might not. There's no shame in mistakes, you guys. Just fix them the best you can and move on. And then I'm going to sew this one, and then I didn't have to use a second starter. Can't really see that very well. There we go. All right. Let's see how we've done. See, now there's 2 lines there, but it's okay. If it doesn't work out, I'll just cut a new one. Now we're going to trim these up to 5 inches. We've done this lots of times, so we're just going to lay it with this line on the diagonal there, as close to the edge as possible. I might have to make a new one on that. It might be too small now. That's okay, I bought extra fabric. So now we're going to line up the diagonal and both of our 5-inch lines on the sides here. And if you line up, honestly, if you line up 2, the 3rd one should be right on track. Same thing. So usually I pause my video and you guys don't see me doing them all. But I'm learning this new system. And well, I'm not there yet. But maybe someday. Okay. Now we're going to line up the 5 and the diagonal. If I can get this ruler right. So see, I did it. Nope. I didn't cut enough off on that side. See that? That's okay because we're just going to do this one. And then we're going to spin it back around. And we'll cut the excess off of that side. It looks like I'm all kinds of messed up on this one. I don't know. There we go. It's okay. I don't know what I did, but it's okay. Okay, so we're going to go as close to the edge as possible. Line up the diagonal as close to the edge as possible. That one looks pretty good. Now we're going to line up the 5 in both the lines, the straight lines. Alright, and last one, same thing. Oop. My husband was helping me cut earlier. He has the other rotary cutter. So I have to get that back. This one's working pretty good. I actually need to get a pack of new blades. But I just haven't. That little dust can go in that pillow too. Doesn't matter. Here's what we need. Alright, so now we're just going to trim these off on this center block. Line up the 1/4 inch line on the diagonal there. Same thing on this side. Now we'll iron it open. Yep. Oh no, we got them both in there. That's pretty good. I like it. They were the 2 I wanted in there, so pretty good. We'll lay those to the side. Now we're going to do these a little bit differently because we need them all to go the same way. So we're going to cut this in half. Tricked ya. We're going to get the spinning mat. That's what we're going to do. Get that out of the way. We're going to lay this down. And we're going to do this with 2 of them. 1 of each. That one, these are 6 inches. 6-inch squares. We're going to cut them in half this way. And then we're going to spin it around. And you guys, this might be, other than the, I did do it on the, what do you call that? The card trick one. But I have not done a practice run on this block yet. So you're getting what you get here. So now we need to sew these. And give me a second. We're going to put these on this side. So they're all going to go like this. Just like this. So I'm going to head back over to, let me lay this one out, make sure it's the right way. Yep, so now we're going to head back over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew, I'm just going to fold them over and sew them down this back side. So we'll just head back over to the sewing machine. I'm not going to pin them, I'm just going to pick them up as I go. Although if you're not sure if you have to go a far distance from your sewing machine to your cutting space, I recommend pinning. But mine literally is right beside me, so we're just gonna do it this way. I don't like doing it this way. I don't like doing my half squares or whatever, anything. I don't like working with them like this. I would rather do it 2 sides at a time, but you only need, we need all 4 to go with the same thing, with the yellow on the same side. So I'm only making 1 block, so I didn't need extras. If I was making 2 of the same thing, I could make them and just make them go opposite, like I did with the ribbon star, friendship star. It's the friendship star. And then I had 2 and they were just going opposite directions. We're not making 2. So we're gonna, I'm not even sure this is right. We're gonna find out though. Let me find a, there we go. Cut them loose. Head back over to the cutting board. Right. Now we're going to, because I don't know why I only need 2 more of these. I'm not sure why I had an extra one. We're going to lay those to the side for now. We are going to iron them open, but we're going to cut these first. We're just going to cut diagonal, corner to corner. I really am not sure why I had an extra piece. I pre-cut for the other one too, so maybe it goes there. Alright, we're just going to iron them open. I think we're doing it right. Okay, and now we are just going to match up just like this. And these I am going to pin, mostly because it's a longer width. See how I cut that a little bit bigger? Because I wanted to be sure have the right size. But I'll post what you need in the description. We're going to put pin in the middle, the beginning and the end here. And then we'll trim them up after we sew them. It doesn't matter. You just want to kind of eyeball the middle because, like I said, we are going to trim it up. You do want to watch stretching the fabric. That's why I don't like to do it like this. I like to do it when it's still attached, so your sides can't stretch out. But I do what I can. Alright. Again, just eyeball it. I didn't really follow any directions on the fabric this time because I didn't want to. It takes too much time for me. Okay. The beginning and the end, and then we'll sew them up. Alright, let me switch cameras here, and we'll go back over here. We are just, I'm going to lay those, I don't like leaving them lay there because I use that spot, so I'm just going to lay them to the side here. We're just going to follow the 1/4 inch guide there. I do, oh, there's no seam on the bottom. Did get, well, like I said, my husband was using the rotary cutter. He did cut the rest of the squares for my oldest son's plaid blanket, his old man blanket. So I'll be finishing it up. And I'm not sure if I'm going to quilt it or if I'm going to use ties on it. Because he has what we'll call sensitive skin. And he doesn't like the feeling of all the threads. So I think I am just going to tie it in the center of some of the blocks. But we'll see. Alright. Get these out of here, and we'll go back, iron them open, and trim them down. We'll trim these down sort of like we did the half square triangles. But since there's a middle piece, a middle dot, middle seam, that's the word. It'll be a little bit different. Now I'm going to iron them to this yellow side because it's flat and there'll be less bulk. And I'm going to hope that it is done right. If not, we'll just have to redo these pieces going the other direction. But you never know. Oh, we should probably trim down that middle piece too, huh? Make sure it's 5 inches. Okay, so we've ironed them all open. We're going to get our square again. Lay them to the side. Now we're going to trim them to 5 inches. So to do that, we're going to take our 2.5 inch dot and put that on this one, on the middle spot there. And we're going to make sure this diagonal line is lined up on the seam. And we will slice it off. And then we'll spin it around and do the same thing. We're going to put the 1/4 inch dot right there on the middle, not the 1/4 inch, the 2.5 inch, and then our 5-inch point down here, and then our lines will line right up. And mine is bigger because remember I cut those a little bit bigger. You could cut those at 5.5. I think I had them at 6 because that's how I do it whenever I'm cutting the other way or sewing the other way. But anyway, so now you can also do this on this other diagonal line. You still just put the 2.5 inch dot right there on the middle, and you line up the whole line there. And then you're just going to do the same thing. Cut this off, spin it around, and you're going to do it the same way. Line up the 5 and the 5 point and the diagonal, and your 2.5 inch should be right there on the middle one, and mine is. So we will just cut these pieces off. We'll do one more like that, and then we'll do the last one the other way. So again, the 2.5 inch dot in the middle, your diagonal line lined up. That's not, I had that too far down. I saw that yellow there, and I lined it up there, but it's got to be here. Don't be afraid to double check. And the reason I saw that is because when I went to cut it, it was down below my 5 inches there. And it wouldn't have been a big deal to cut it wrong, but, you know, I want to try to avoid extra work and wasting fabric. Well, not really wasting fabric. Like I said, I use every bit of it. Okay, same thing. I don't know why that, see, it stretches a little. I hate that. Line up the 5, the 2.5, the diagonal, and both your straight lines. Yeah, I hate doing them that way, but that's what we do. Excuse me. So we're going to do this one this way. Line up the 2.5 right there in the middle, and the diagonal goes straight. We'll spin it around. Line up the 5. If you line up the 5 in the diagonal, it should put all the other ones into place. These lines go into place. This one goes right into place. Don't get me wrong, check them all. But you shouldn't have to, you should only, once you line up 2, the rest should fall right into place. Okay, so now let's lay it out. Oh, no, let's see if this one's 5 inches. See, it's a little bit more. So to do that, we are going to line up our middle. See these points here where the fabrics overlap? That's the middle, these points. So I'm going to line up the 2.5 lines, the 2.5 inch lines on all 4 corners of the block. And we're going to trim that off. Then when I turn it around, I can do the same thing, but I can also line up my 5 because this side is all even. So you do that, you make sure the others are all lined up, and you trim. So now we have them all ready to go. So let's see how it lays out. Let's hope it lays out. So these are going to go, you want this and this to be the same. So they're just going to go in your corners. If I wanted the Harry Potter to look right or look straight up, I would fix it now. But it looks like it wouldn't anyway, so I'm not going to try. Then these, you want the Harry Potter facing up. And it should mean that your smaller piece is over here, and this whole half on this side all the way around is the big one. So, which it is. So we did it right. Yay, us. So now we just need to sew this together. And I'm going to take you with me for that, we're just going to do these two, and these two. And I'm just going to pull them over as I'm sewing. And then I'll come back and show you the rows. We'll iron out the rows, and then we'll attach the rows. So follow me to the sewing machine. So to do this, see, this one does have a bit of a seam, but I've ironed them opposite ways. You can't really see that. So I am just going to fold this one the other way. I'm going to pin it. You couldn't really see that. I apologize. But I did, so they would stick together. I think I like this block. I might make a blanket out of it. You never know. A quilt. A blanket, a quilt. And our final row, again, I want my seam to match up at the bottom there, which I'm going to pin it. I know you can't see that, I apologize. But trust me, I lined up the seam. We're just going to sew right down through. See how that bunches up there? I don't know if you can see it, the fabric. I always lift it and just put it under it, and then it presses right out. So now I'm not going to unhook any of them, or all of them rather. I'm going to cut off the top one, the top block here. I cut that off, and then I'll just open it back up. And I know my piece with the yellow is in the middle, so I'll just fold it open, and I'll bring my other piece over, lay it, make sure it's going right, and I will just attach it and sew right on down. Just keep going, and then I'll do that with all of them. Well, let's pull on it a little bit. There we go. Grab the next one down, and that one I know my picture of the boys there is in the middle, so I'll grab my other one just the way I picked it up, and I'll fold it over. I just pick it up the same way it's laying down there, fold it over, and sometimes I pin on these, but a lot of times these days, and when I first started out, I pinned everything, always pinned. But when it's just little pieces like this, and I'm just right here doing it, I don't always. If I was doing a bunch of them and piling them up, I would pin, so I didn't get confused or anything, but I know where I'm at now. So I'll just open that up. I know the yellow is the middle. I bring the other one over just how it is, fold it over, line up my seam here at the bottom. And it's going the wrong way too, so I'll just fold it over. I'll press it when I get back over to the ironing mat, but for now, a fold and a pin will be just fine. Then we're going to sew it straight on down through. Right now our blocks are into rows. I'm going to just put that through there so I can get them off of there. I'll meet you back at this ironing table, ironing area. We're just going to cut them apart. I don't always cut them apart, but it's easier, honestly. Like, it helps to keep them straight. So I'm going to iron the top ones to the middle block. The top one and the bottom one are going to be ironed to the middle block. And the middle one is going to be ironed to the outside, because this middle one has a lot of bulk right there, and I don't want to add to it. because nobody wants that. Unless you want a lot of lumps in your quilt. Who am I to judge? You do it the way you want it. Alright. What did I say? We're going out, right? No, we're going in. See? I mess up. Anybody that says they don't mess up, well, I don't like to call people liars, but it's awful good luck if you don't. Okay, so we're going to lay it back out. And you all see what I see, right? If I sewed it right there like that, I would be so sad. So we got to make sure it lays right. The Harry Potter's out on all of them. Yellow is right. So now we're just going to fold this down. And since we ironed them opposite ways, they lay together nicely. And this is what I mean. This is a pretty big piece. I will be pinning these. I always pin. If there's a seam, more than one seam, I always pin. I usually pin all seams, but at the very least, if there's more than one seam, I pin. See, those go the same way, but oh well. Sorry, my watch buzzed. Wanted to see if it was important. Alright, so then I'm just going to fold this up because I'm all about efficiency. And then we're going to pin this side. At this rate, I might not have this blanket done before his birthday, which, you know, is May. But he hasn't complained, so he's a good kid. This one is the one that was in my live video, sticking his little finger in there. And then later, I seen him in the comments. He was very excited about that. Way more excited than I would have thought. But okay, so now we're just going to head back over there, and I'll sew up these, and then we'll be back. We'll come back over here and see how it looks. So we're just going to round that up there. Lift it up. See, when that does that, I just pull a little on that starter, and it pops right through. See how that folds back? If you just lift it up and fold it over. And these down here, I always like to lift up and make sure they're folded under. When the top one's coming towards me, the other one usually folds back because this pushes it. So I always push it back before I go on through. See, there's a lot of bulk there. See, there that, yeah, seam might not turn out very well. Then we just cut it loose, spin it around, make sure those other pieces are folded open and out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, my starter there. And we're going to see what mess that is, where that came from. See, I felt that fold up. Okay, we're done. Are you guys as excited as I am? I love finishing a new block. There we go. So now we just have to iron it open, and I'm going to iron it to both the top and bottom, not the middle, because the middle has all that bulk. See, it bunched up right there. That's where it caught on me. But it'll be alright. It is a little knot there. Let's see if I can do something about it without having to redo it completely. Well, we're going to run a couple stitches through it because I fixed it. So I'm going to head back over here. For that, I won't use the starter. What I'll do is I'll just go in right there where that was, and that's just a little bit before before I get to that area, and I'll just make sure it stitches over it nicely just where it's at. Pull it out. And I didn't need a starter for that because I wasn't sewing down through the whole thing. So then I will trim these off. Trim them off of there too because I don't like a lot of threads on my starters and enders. So now it lays flatter. Well, sort of. Yep, there it is. So there it is. What did I say it was called? Air Castle. Variation 1. I probably could have had a higher contrast on these from those, but I actually like it. I wanted the yellow in almost all of it except for that. So there it is. It is 14 inches. It is going in, obviously, to the Harry Potter quilt. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you make it. Post pictures in the group. I hope y'all are enjoying that group. I really am. I don't get to comment on a lot. I work a lot, but I love seeing all the pictures of everything in it. So anyways, I hope you make this. I hope you love it, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.